Hey, yo, peep this. This is your boy, the host with the most. I'm Chris Adam. One, I do not brag or boast. And I'm coming with another Stories from Retail. Do employees have sex with other employees? It doesn't happen often, but it does happen that I know of to be factual. Okay, this is no fictional story. The events I'm about to say are 100% authentic and true, okay? I swear to God. I was working at this retail store, and I worked the evening shift. And I worked the evening shift with this manager. 9 times out of 10, I would always close with Mr. Ashworth. Now, Mr. Ashworth was an older Jewish man, okay? And he's been with the corporation for many moons, okay? Many moons, Mr. Ashworth has, been with this corporation. And 9 times out of 10, he would close the store down. And I happened to work with him the majority of my nights. Mr. Ashworth wasn't a difficult man. He was very simple. Look, he would always tell us, look, he's coming to the end of the road. He's retiring from the corporation. So Mr. Ashworth wasn't all that serious, okay? As long as you came in, put your best foot forward, do the task at hand, do your job to the best of your ability, you're cool and you're tight with Mr. Ashworth. You do your tasks. If you don't do all your tasks, as long as you do the majority of your tasks, he's cool, okay? As long as you take out the trash, you clean up, you take care of the customers, he's cool. And every now and then, Mr. Ashworth would allow me to, when I'm done with my task, I can go into the manager's office with him and we can just kick back, kicking the breeze, talking about sports, whatever was on his mind, And I was the type of person I didn't want to control the narrative. I didn't want to control the conversation. I just basically just sat in there and just listened to him. And Mr. Ashworth would have some great stories and from his experience. He was a much older man. He's been through the good and the bad, and you can learn a lot of life lessons from Mr. Ashworth. We were just kicking it, shooting the breeze, and I heard this alarm. I have never heard this alarm before in my life, okay? As many times I would sit in the office, I would never hear this alarm. And Mr. Ashworth said the sensor went off in the back room. So I'm going like, wow, over in the furnace area. So in this area is it's pinned off and it's so far back in the store, there's no way someone can get lost in the furnace, area, okay? Because it was mainly locked off. So Mr. Ashworth said, hey, you want to come with me and see what's going on while the alarm alerted? Because at that particular time, there's no way anyone can get in that part of the store unless you can unlock the fence. There was no exits, there was no doors back there from the outside going in. I was walking to the back of the store. We're thinking the possibilities. We're thinking like, maybe a raccoon or a rat or a cat somehow went into some of the smaller holes and it ran past the sensor and it triggered the sensor. We're just thinking random stuff. Maybe some debris, some boxes or something them fell over and hit the sensor, okay? Mr. Ashworth, as well as myself, we wasn't thinking nor expecting to see what we ultimately saw. As we was going into the furnace area, we noticed that the front of the gate was unlocked, and we're going like, whoa, why is the gate unlocked? Because the only people that would have access to the keys is management and department heads. And he was looking at me, Chris. He looked at me and said, Chris, I don't remember or recalling giving anybody my keys to come back here in the first place. So now we started getting kind of concerned, all right? But we went on, we went through the back furnace, and we went to the back of the furnace room, and we just heard a lot of commotion, Okay, just heard a lot of commotion. As we get closer and closer, we found out that two co-workers that I knew of, because when I worked at this corporation, I was introduced by these two co-workers, and it was, Jason and Denise. I'm not going to say their last names, but Jason and Denise. Okay, they was like boyfriend, girlfriend. Now, Jason and Denise reminds me of John Cougar Mellencamp's song, Jack and Diane. It kind of remind me of that song. I don't know why they remind me of that song. They just remind me of that song. Jason and Denise, they're just cool, laid-back white couple. Jason and Denise, we call Jason and Denise, in the moment of having sex. I don't know if they was finishing or starting, but I do know that Denise, she had her shirt halfway off. She had her bra at the bottom of her breast, and when we arrived, she quickly put her bra back on and turned around where we couldn't see. I mean, her derriere was nude. Okay, it was nude, and it was for the world to see. Okay, I saw a glimpse of it, didn't see too much of it. And Jason had his pants down, had his drawers down, he had his shirt on, and Jason was trying to put pull his pants and his drawers up, okay? But he was having some problem. Mr. Ashworth, myself, Jason, Denise, we was all back there, okay? And Mr. Ashworth was not happy. I have never seen Mr. Ashworth this mad before in my life. Everybody went to the manager's office. Mr. Ashworth, at the first part, we all went to the manager's office, and Mr. Ashworth told me to just go back to my department, and it was Jason, Denise, and Mr. Ashworth in the manager's office. Everyone was asking me, yo, Chris, what's going on? What's going on? I didn't want to throw anybody's business out there, okay? Because, Jason was cool with me, Denise was cool with me, I had no issues with them, but I also was cool with Mr. Ashworth as well. And then I felt like it's not my business to tell someone else's business. After 30 minutes before clocking out, Mr. Ashworth calls me on the speakerphone to the manager's office, and everyone just assumed that I was in trouble. They're going like, "Ooh, Chris, you in trouble?" Just assuming that I was in trouble. All right. So I already knew what was up. So I walked back to the manager's office. All right. And then Mr. Ashworth was he told me to shut the door behind me. So I shut the door, and he talked briefly about the incident a couple of hours back with Jason and Denise, having sex. And he was very disappointed. He was shocked, and and he didn't want to be put in a situation like this, but nevertheless, he's in this situation. So Mr. Ashworth told me to write a report on what took place those moments, okay? So I just wrote down, I wrote down what I saw, I wrote down what everyone said, and I signed it, and I gave it to Mr. Ashworth. There's no way in the world they're going to get in trouble. It's not like they're going to get fired or anything, okay? So I was weighing out the pros and cons as far as doing the report or not. And at that time, what I know now, if I knew that then, that was an optional decision. It wasn't like I had to write a report. I could have just simply said, I didn't either see nothing, or I just don't want to get myself involved in this, okay? Wrote the report. I wrote the report, gave it to Mr. Ashworth. A day goes by. 2 days go by. 4 days go by. I say about 2 weeks goes by, all right? During that whole time, I really didn't hear too much from Jason. I really didn't hear too much from Denise. Denise was real shy about it because, just imagine and put yourself in their shoes, okay? Well, her shoes. She's looking at it as, she's making love to her boyfriend, And then here comes me and Mr. Ashworth, watching their affairs. Plus, she's probably thinking how long they was back there watching us. Did they watch us from the beginning? Did they watch me do this? Did they watch me say that? Jason, on the other hand, really didn't say too much about it. But then after like 4 or 5 days, he came up to me and tried to explain the situation, which it was really nothing to explain to me, because I understand, you want to hook up with your girlfriend, and that's your girlfriend. It's not like, it was not like Jason was having sex with a prostitute or a stripper or, another co-worker. He was basically making love or having sex with his girlfriend. So it was justifiable for me, and he tried to explain it to me, and I was going like, yo, look, you ain't got nothing to explain to me about. I'm cool with it, okay? I mean, it's not like you forced yourself on Denise. She wanted it just as much as you did. Y'all boyfriend, girlfriend, that's just nature. That's, cool. 2, 3, I say about 3 weeks go by. And by the 3rd week, pretty much everybody that was nosy knew about it. Now, I didn't say nothing to nobody. I kept my mouth shut because, like I said, it was none of my business. I couldn't advertise their business out into the masses, okay? And I feel like the reason why their business got out that way was, management talked, okay? So I'm pretty sure Mr. Ashworth spoken to the store manager. Pretty sure the store manager talked to the other co-managers. And I'm pretty sure the co-manager started communicating with the department heads. And if you're cool with the department head, and if you're cool with a co-manager or a store manager, as an employee, you're gonna know yourself, okay? Everybody knew. The OG co-workers, the new the workers, department heads, vendors, customers. Everybody knew, okay? Their parents, everybody knew. Their friends, everyone knew of this incident. When it started blowing up into the masses, it was Mr. Ashworth's name and Jason Denise, okay? Then everyone started figuring out I was there too. So then everybody started, running up on me like a pack of reporters, just with mics in their hands, and they're throwing it into my face, going like, "What happened? What, blah, 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 Everyone had their little pens and pads, and I'm just being, silly on that. But then everybody started coming to me saying, "Yo, Chris, what happened? What happened? What done transpired?" And this, that, and the third, And at first, I didn't say nothing. Okay, so it's been like 3 weeks and a couple of days. I ain't tell nobody. Then I started hearing stories that Jason, Denise, and Mr. Ashworth were all involved, okay? And then I was saying to myself, I know eventually they're going to throw me into the mix, okay? They're going to say we all, we were all involved. Like we had an orgy back there in the furnace. So I had no choice. I felt like 3 weeks is a good enough time, not to say nothing, but the whole store and everyone outside the store knew about it. Hey, now you got people coming from the corporate office are involved, okay? Now you got security involved, okay? They're looking back at cameras, everything. The union, when I heard the union was involved, I'm like, okay, this done spun into something that was so innocent and so playful and funny. Now it done turned into something where, people could lose their jobs over this, okay? And I didn't want to be one of those people, okay? So, the union got involved, and they had meetings about it in the back of the manager's office for the past couple of days. Then they were preparing for like maybe moving. They was going as far as Denise transferring to another store. That's how serious it got. Jason, at first, Jason was so trustworthy and such a hard worker. Managers didn't say too much. Management don't say too many bad things about Jason. But now they'll talk about the possibility of Jason even losing his job over this. Okay, and I'm going like, whoa, this has gotten way out of hand. All right, so Jason and Denise, they split them up. Jason was on one side of the store, works on one side of the store. Denise worked on the other side of the store. Okay, they couldn't take their breaks together. They couldn't take their lunch together. They couldn't have the same shift. If Jason worked in the morning, they made it so where Denise would come either midway in the afternoon or late evening, or vice versa. Okay, so then when the union got involved, this is what I heard. They were talking about possibility of Mr. Ashworth losing his job. Okay. Now there was a whole lot of rumors in the air on why he was going to lose his job because of the accusations that were floating around. And since Jason and Denise, they were young, they wasn't teenagers, but they're like young adults. And then when their parents found out about this, they were really upset and mad, not only at Jason, but the store. Okay, now they're upset at the store. Like the store should have had some parameters in where this could not have happened. Spiraled into like a month and a half of speculation, of conversation and talks and precautions. And you got the union involved, you got security involved, you got management involved, you got department heads involved. Okay, now this turned into a big, huge thing, like Bill Clinton and Monica Lewinsky. This is what happened. Mr. Ashworth had to step down. They went on and granted Mr. Ashworth retirement. Mr. Ashworth was going to retire in another 3 years. So they went on and allow him to get his full benefit to retire from this corporation. All right, because that was his ultimate goal. He wanted to retire out of the corporation and just fish or hang with his grandkids or whatever. So Mr. Ashworth went ahead and just retired. Okay, we gave him a big old retirement party, and I pulled Mr. Ashworth to the side. I'm like, I thought you said that you wasn't going to retire for like another 3 years. And, he didn't really say too much. Well, on his final day, he went on and broke it down to me. He said, look, Chris, the reason why I took retirement sooner because they was pressing him. It happened on his watch. Therefore, he's responsible. Therefore, they was going to punish him because of it. Okay. And he just went, and they gave him an offer, either fight it and lose your job, because they were talking about demoting him. You can either fight the demotion and lose your job entirely, or just take the retirement. And he just said, yo, Chris, I just went on and took the retirement. With Jason and Denise, would always wonder where they're at. Okay. If they took their breaks and lunches too long, they would page you. Jason and Denise could no longer work together. All right. So a couple years go by, 3 years go by, and everyone forgot about the ordeal. It's not the hot thing, because guess what? In retail, or if you're working in a retail store, people are going to talk about it until the next incident or until something else happens. And that becomes old news. And now people are gravitating to the new news. All right. So it was Jason. And during that whole time, I was cool with Jason and Denise. Denise was cool with me. Jason was cool with me. We was all cool. Me, Jason, and Denise was still working there. And then in comes this guy. His name is Kenny. So Kenny was a little younger than me. I was older than Kenny. He was like 3 or 4 years, about 3 or 4 years younger than Jason and Denise. And, we would all, we would all hang around, talk, either me and Kenny and Jason would take our breaks and lunches together, or in certain days, me and Kenny would take our lunch with Denise. Okay, so that was the situation. There was never a situation when all 4 of us was able to take our lunches together. Not only it was impossible for all 4 of us to take our lunch, even if we could do it, management would just stomp that out. Go, no. Jason and Denise can't take their lunch together. All right, you 2 guys can take your lunch with Jason, or you 2 guys can take your lunch with Denise. But what ain't gonna happen is all 4 of y'all take y'all lunch, and because everyone was still thinking about that incident. Okay, after work, they would hang out more. I would hang out with Jason and Denise sometimes, but the majority of the time I couldn't make it and hang with them because, I had friends in the hood, all right, that I was cool with. I had people that I was cool with since day one, all right? So I would spend time hanging out with them, and when I'm at work, I would spend time and hang out with Jason and Denise. I was getting the best of both worlds. And on occasion, I would hang out with Jason and Denise, away from work occasionally, but not as much, because the things that they were interested in, those were not the things I was interested in. Now, when it came to a movie or going to a restaurant or somewhere, okay, I'm good with that, all right? I'm good with that. But Jason and Denise, they liked other things like bowling. I was never cool with bowling, okay? They would like to play softball. I was never cool with playing softball, all right? So Jason and Denise, they just liked things that I didn't like. They would hang out more so with Kenny, and they just stopped asking me. Unless it was some type of lunch or dinner or going to the movies where all 4 of us would hang out, cool. But they knew a lot of things that they liked, I did not like. I didn't want to be involved in that stuff. So subconsciously, they knew that I was not in with all that stuff, all right? So Jason and Denise would hang out with Kenny a lot more after work. One day, we was going to take a lunch. Me and Kenny was going to take a lunch. We couldn't take a lunch with Jason because he was unloading the truck. And we couldn't take a lunch with Denise because Denise was off that day. So it was just me and Kenny. We was going to go to McDonald's, Jack in the Box, Long John Silver's, wherever, okay? Whatever, Burger King, whatever. And as we was driving, to the fast food restaurant, I think we ended up going to White Castle. As we was driving to White Castle, I noticed in the back passenger seat a magazine. So I picked up the magazine, which I shouldn't have picked up the magazine. It wasn't my magazine, but I was just interested in the magazine, and it was a half-naked woman on there. And it was a brochure to some strip club, okay? And, me being funny and me being sarcastic, which, Jason figured it out that I'm funny, I'm sarcastic. Okay, Denise figured out I'm funny inside. Sometimes the things that come out of my mouth, I'm not serious about it. I'm just jokey joke. All right, everyone knew that about me. Kenny really didn't knew that about me. So I just said in a laughing, joking, sarcastic way, I said, "Oh, y'all went to that strip club that Jason and Denise was trying to send me to." I said something to the point of, I guess y'all had a threesome there. You can't have a threesome at a strip club. I'm pretty sure some strip clubs you can be able to do that, but So Kenny's eyes started to get big. Like I caught him on something. Kenny just blurted it out. You don't understand. We went to the strip club because they wanted to have, we went to the strip club And then after the strip club, we had a threesome. I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. Stop. Pump the brakes. Pump the brakes. Okay, stop for a second, all right? I mean, Kenny, Jason, and Denise, all three of y'all had a threesome? Dude, I was just joking about the magazine, all right? I wasn't serious about the magazine, okay? That's none of my business, okay? I think you done said way too much, okay? I ain't got nothing to do with that, all right? Let's just talk about something else. But he was already caught in so deep, and he already told me, that they had, all three of them had sex, but I was willing to forget about it, and I didn't want to talk about it, all right? But I guess Kenny was looking at this like a confession, like he had a confession that was on his back, on his mind, and I guess, I don't know, maybe he was stressed out about it, but he just wanted to talk to someone about it, all right? So he just told me that, basically they went to the strip club and they started introducing him to other things, and then the conversation brought up to them as, we should have a threesome, okay? I think they had a couples moment. Is that? I still think I say that word wrong. I swear. When we went to White Castle, we ate a little bit, and when we got into the car, nothing was said because I didn't want to say anything because I didn't want him to bring it back up because, he was still wanting someone to speak to about. He just wanted to talk to somebody. Okay, and I guess I was that one. But I felt like it was not my place. And B, I can't judge, all right? So I just didn't want to be involved. 3 days after that, when he blurted it out, he walked up to me and said, hey, you're not going to tell Jason and Denise. I said, no, I'm not going to tell Jason and Denise because that's none of my business, okay? That's between you, Jason, and Denise, okay? I don't have a horse in the race, okay? It's none of my business. So, I, didn't speak on it. I didn't want to talk about it. Kenny stopped talking about it. But I say about a week or two went by. Jason, I don't know. I just had the feeling that Jason and Denise knew about that incident in the car because they just started looking at me funny. They just started acting funny around me. It was like they wanted to engage in the conversation, but they didn't want to start the conversation. I guess they wanted me to start the conversation, but I didn't want to talk about it. I mean, I just did not want to talk about it. But I looked at them totally different than when I first met them. And it's not, I looked at them like an ugly way. I had an ugly look about them, or I just thought they were unholy or not clean people or anything like that. It's just, I looked at them as this is their new reality, okay? And if Jason's cool about it, Denise is cool about it, then I'm cool about it. Sometimes you can be cool with people and you don't necessarily have to say it in agreement. Like, we all have to agree that we're cool with what was said or what was did, okay? Sometimes you can agree with somebody without even saying a word, right? Even when Denise left that corporation, went into I guess she was like a nurse in house care or something like that. She found her job at the state. Then she got Jason on board to work for the state. And then they got married when they left the corporation. And then it was just me and Kenny. So Kenny, we would just hang out, chill and stuff like that. And then Kenny left the corporation and then he went back to school. He wanted to finish. I guess he wanted to be like a director or something like that. Which I helped him with a lot of his film projects at school, and he also was doing film projects on the side. And he had a dream and a passion for that, and he knew by staying at this corporation it was never going to be fulfilled. So he quit and went back to school. All right, and it was just lonely old me, holding the bag, so to say. But I was still cool with other people. But I was really tight with Jason and Denise and Kenny, because I just felt like those guys were truly down with me. Even though I had friends outside of the workplace, okay, and even though I could hang with other people at the workplace, it just did not feel the same with other people. It just hit a little different. That's all I got for this video. I hope you guys like it. If you did like it, if you listened to it from start to finish, please comment in the comment section. Tell me what you think about this. I feel like this is a new direction that I'm going to go with this channel, telling you guys stories when I used to work at retail. If you like it, if you like me doing more videos like this, then hit the like button, comment, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell so it'll let you know when my next live stream or video goes down. It's your boy, the host with the most. I do not brag or boast. I'm coming to you live from coast to coast. It's your boy. I'm Chris the Don One. I'm up out of here. I will talk to you guys next week. Deuces.